500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago. So the integrity of the story doesn't change.
When we look at how the American government, the U.S. government, has kind of, in a way, created their own version of Native history, and with some of your work kind of showing the idea that a lot of the Native tribes migrated from the Middle East, have lineage back to the tribes of Israel. What do you see as kind of the purpose behind this false history that I remember hearing growing up in school in the history textbooks? Oh, you know, Christopher Columbus got over here and he found the natives here and they'd been here all along, and there's no way that they, you know. So what is kind of the agenda behind this false narrative, this false history that's being told about the natives here in the Americas? And, you know, what do you have to say about what's kind of being perpetrated in schools, in history books, that flat out deny the idea that Native tribes migrated over from the Middle East? What is the purpose of this false narrative?
I often rack my brain trying to figure that out. And now, I don't think that all tribes have a Hebraic origin. I don't believe that all tribes have that Semitic genetics. But I do. I mean, the research does really point to some tribes that, not just through linguistics, but through cultural traditions, through spiritual traditions, and even now through DNA. National Geographic just did an article a few years ago talking about the origin of some tribes in the native DNA, and the markers that were showing up were Middle Eastern markers. And this is mostly tribes that were on the East Coast, and it's also in the southwestern part of the country. Cover up why the blatant, I can't even begin to understand. For example, there is absolute concrete archaeological evidence that the Mayans and the Incans were all the way up through Florida, even as far as Okmulgee, Georgia, and going into Ohio. There's a definite Mayan Incan influence in architecture, in religion, in the art, in the iconography. You definitely see the Central American motifs, religion, spiritual way, cultures, and traditions. Why do archaeologists deny it? I don't know. Do they want to deny? I guess they